Hey guys, Finn here from Complete Body Approach, and today we're just going to talk a little bit about movement snacks. So when I talk about the principle of movement snacks, I relate it a lot to nutrition. So the same as like what food that you're putting into your body is going to have an effect on how your body is functioning overall. So if you're not eating good foods, not eating healthy foods, not eating enough foods, your body's not going to have the energy to function at its highest potential. And that's the same way as I look at my movement practice, and like looking at adding in movement snacks as a continuous grazing on these nutritious movements for our body continuously throughout the day. Whenever like a lot of people, like whenever I'm working with, like they have like certain injuries, niggles, or just overall general restrictions and everything in the body that they want to work through. However, the biggest changes that I can elicit in people is changing their mindset around the importance of looking at movement throughout their day, and rather than getting them to keep focusing just on what they're doing in the gym. Like when we kind of look at like a gym program, you can have the best gym program, you can have the best mobility routine, all of these different factors that you have set up for yourself. But if you're only doing that 3-4 times a week for maybe an hour a day over the course of your week, that's not a lot of time that you're given to nourish your body through movement, to overcompensate for all of the other factors that's going on within your posture, within your habits, within your own injuries, within all of these different factors. So like even if you train for an hour a day every single day, that's only 4% of your day that you're actually moving your body. So what are you doing with the rest of the hours in that day that may be hampering your progress with your movement ability? So this is when we kind of start changing our mindset around like looking at our movement as what we do just in the gym, to start looking at how we can add movement into all facets of our life. That's where you're going to start creating real lasting change in your body and in your overall health and wellness. When we kind of start looking at the big picture of movement snacks as well, the big thing to focus on is looking at how you can kind of set yourself up for success with it. So there's a couple of things that I really start off with the base to really get the groundwork laying for a proper practice within this. And the first one is bringing awareness into your body. Because if you're not aware of what you're doing, if you're not aware of the posture you're in, if you're not aware of where you're holding tension through your body, it's a lot harder to try to combat that. So the first things first is I want you to just slow down, just wherever you are, just take a couple of big deep breaths, just closing your eyes, and just center yourself into your body. As you're standing here or sitting or lying down, just take a couple of nice big deep breaths and just really feel that breath coming through your body. As you're working with that breath through your body, I just want you to start doing a little scan from your toes the whole way up, through your thighs, through your pelvis, lower back, working the whole way up through your shoulders, upper back, coming down through your arms, in your neck, in your forehead. And as you're just scanning through your whole body, I just want you to feel how that tension is through your body. Is there any areas where you're carrying a little bit more tension, or you feel pretty relaxed and even in both sides? When you're standing there as well, I'm just going to get you focusing on your breath. Is your breath nice, slow and relaxed, or do you feel your breath is fast and laboured? As you're working with that breath, are you breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth, or are you breathing in and out through your mouth? Again, as you're standing there, as you're sitting with that breath, we'll take a couple of big, long, deep breaths. As you're taking that big inhale in, do you feel your chest and shoulders rising with that inhale, or do you feel your tummy rising and expanding with that inhale? So as we start off here, the first thing that we're going to focus on is just bringing that awareness to our body and to our breath. I'm going to get you to place your hand on your chest and one hand on your tummy. I'm just starting off taking a couple of nice, slow, long, deep breaths. Come breathing in through your nose, breathing into your hand on the tummy. Then as you're breathing out, really fully exhale and let all of that air out. So again, we're going to slowly draw that breath in through your nose into your tummy. Feel that bottom hand rise. Feel the top hand rise. And then as we're breathing out, feel the top hand drop and the bottom hand drop. So we're just causing this wave coming through our diaphragm to our chest, and then chest back down to our diaphragm. When you're working with that exhalation, really focus on emptying all of that air out. So go for a longer exhale and making sure you're really pushing all of that air out before you're coming for your next big inhale coming in. So just going to go for a couple more of them. Beautiful. So then from there, I just want you to kind of, again, relax your arms down by your side and just have a little feel through your body. How does that feel? Is there any difference to before compared to now? And like even just that simple little aspect of checking in with your breath, it only takes a couple of minutes. That is the quintessential movement snack that you can really focus on. If you start filtering that in throughout your day, that's going to make a massive change in how you're connected with your body, how you're connected with your mind, as well as allowing yourself to get back into that relaxation state. So with this here, like the things that I want you to start working on this, because these movement snacks, because that connection with your breath, because that whole process isn't something that's normally built into your day-to-day practice, it's going to be really hard for you to remember to do that. So let's look at little tools to make that easier. With your breath, the one that I want you to focus on is look at what you do constantly throughout your day. If there's a certain tasks that you do at work or certain tasks that you constantly do throughout your day, I want you to hang that breath practice onto that task. So a really good one that I like to give people is anytime you reach for your phone. So that might be like to send a message, to have a scroll through social media, to use it for anything. First thing you do when you reach for your phone, as soon as you reach for your phone, catch yourself in that thought. And then just see, can you just slowly come and center yourself, hand on your chest, hand on your tummy, and just take 3 nice, slow, long, deep breaths like what we did, breathing into your tummy, breathing into your chest, out of your chest, out of your tummy. 3 of them, and then continue about what you were going to do. So hang that on a task like reaching for your phone or answering emails, or find out what works for you, but make it something that you do a lot throughout the day. And the more you can consciously link that task of breathing to whatever task it is, that's where you're going to start doing that a lot more throughout the day, and that's going to start bringing that conscious awareness to a subconscious pattern. And as we bring that subconscious awareness to a conscious, or that conscious awareness to a subconscious pattern, that's when we're going to start changing that subconscious and allow us to start breathing in a more of a relaxation, deeper diaphragmic state. So the next one that we're going to start moving on is looking at other ways that we can start nourishing our body with movement snacks throughout the day. It's one of the things, a lot of us say like we're too busy to do this or that, but it's all about looking at how you prioritise your day and how you prioritise the things that you want to do for yourself. For myself personally, I started really focusing on this practice whenever I wanted to get an ass to grass squat, because whenever we were travelling, I was blown away by the Asian culture who was able to sit in like a deep squat, eating their foods, waiting for a bus stop, and like literally my squat was probably about that, and that was about 5 years ago. So I was like, right, I need to make changes with this. I was trying to do really specific mobility routines and change up my training and stuff, but I didn't change anything else throughout my day, and I was getting a little bit of progress, but it was still really slow. And that's when it says like, right, I'm going to start looking at how I can bring hip opening movements into everything that I do. So with that, that's when I started adapting a floor lifting practice. So like floor lifting practice is something that again, I cannot emphasize the importance of spending more time on the floor, because it's going to be the best thing that you can do for your body, because it's just allowing you to bring a movement into everything that you normally do. So how this looks for me is when I'm eating my food, when I'm doing work on the computer, when I'm on my phone, when I'm reading my books, when I'm just chilling out, and any time that I would normally be like sitting on the chair or sitting on the sofa and doing whatever, I'm trying to spend more time sitting on the ground. So I'm not doing my mobility, but I am doing mobility with everything that I do, because I'm constantly working in different positions to open the body. Again, like when I start looking at my daughters, like they have been the biggest teacher from this. Like seeing my daughters progress from learning how to like crawl to learn how to walk, like they focus and do these movements day in, day out for hours at a time, and it's no wonder that they can work through these massive milestones in movement, because they're constantly working on them, constantly developing them. They're like for a child to development to learn how to walk, they just don't go as like, I'm going to do squat for like half an hour and then that's going to be me walking in a couple of weeks. They're working on it continuously. So the more we as adults can start bringing ourselves back to that childhood state and bring us back to that floor living and come building that in throughout your day, that's where you're going to again start seeing a lot of changes with that. And again, when we look at floor living, it doesn't have to be anything super difficult. It's like finding positions that's going to suit you. So some of the ones that I kind of focus on, like my go-to ones, is when I'm sitting down, just starting off, just sitting in that cross-legged position, keeping your chest up nice and tall, allowing yourself just to relax in that position. Try not to drop in through that big slump. If this is too much for you, you can use like a yoga cushion or a bolster to sit underneath, and that's going to tilt your pelvis forward, and that's going to allow you to sit in a bit more of an upright position. And like again, just allowing yourself to build into that pattern. the beauty with this floor work is like when you're doing your day-to-day tasks, when you're spending time on the floor, like you don't have to be like, oh, what's my technique, constantly checking my technique. Is like as soon as you're in a position and you start getting a bit uncomfortable, your body's going to innately move it. So from here you might want to come coming into that sort of 90-90 position where you just have your legs bent at that 90-degree angle, and again you're just having to play in this position. Again, this could be when you're watching TV, it could be when you're on the floor playing with your kids, you could be sitting working on your phone, reading a book. It's finding different patterns that you can start working through. Again, when this starts getting uncomfortable, you might want to go into like a hunter squat, and that's where you bring in foot underneath, so that's going to be working that plantar flexion through your foot, and this is going to be working a dorsiflexion through this foot. And again, just hanging out in this position. From here, you can start swapping sides, working through different things that you want to work on. Other practices and other movements that you can do to start bringing in a bit of stuff for your shoulder. When you're sitting there, you can slowly bring your hands behind and just sitting in this position, and then just lifting that chest tall as you're squeezing the shoulders back and just kind of hanging out in this position. To make that a bit more difficult, you can slowly start walking the hands back to get a bit more of a stretch through there. Again, squeezing the shoulders back, chest tall, hanging out here for a little bit, and then you can slowly back that off. Like, and just as you're sitting here, like, it's just, again, constantly moving. Like, don't stay stationary in one position for too long. You're just kind of constantly moving through, and like that's going to allow you to start sinking through. And again, start experimenting and playing with this. Don't, like, there's certain movements that you can have, but like just start using, like, see how your body wants to move and start exploring these different movements. But as I said, spending time, like when you're doing stuff that you would normally be sitting on the sofa or sitting in a chair, get onto the floor as much as possible. How I built this into my day is when I'm at work on the computer, like I change my positions a lot. So some of the times I might be sitting at my desk for a while, and that's all good. Then if I feel my posture's starting to drop, or I'm getting tired, or I need to shake things up, I bring my laptop down to like a coffee table where I'm working down super low, and like I've spent that time sitting on the floor working on the coffee table, again swapping up them positions as I'm working through, just constantly kind of revising these different positions as I'm working through that. Other things that I work with the floor living is when I'm eating my food, like that's where we're sitting low on the floor, and when I'm on my own, I normally would sit in the bottom of a squat position, and like that's where, like, if you can get like that nice flat-footed squat, sitting here while I'm eating my food. If this is too difficult for you, you can come up, have your heels up, or if you want to have a bit of a wedge under your heel, or a bit of like a book or something like that underneath your heel to take a bit of that ankle dorsiflexion out to give you that little bit of support. So it's just playing in different positions like that. We've also gone to the extreme, and some people might call it extreme, where our dining room table, like we've actually lobbed the legs off the dining room table, so like our table is about this high off the floor, and as a family we all sit on the floor while we're sharing food together. And like, again, it's such a beautiful practice, because like with two girls, they're able to be down on the floor with us while we're eating, and it's more time like we're spending when we're sharing food together, sitting in these different positions, opening out through our hips. And I guaranteed, if you start adapting that floor living and looking at how you can build that into your day, you're going to have massive gains in your ankle mobility, your hip mobility, any knee issues, any back issues, all of that stuff that may be going on. That's going to start really opening them areas up and get things moving a lot more. The next thing that we can start looking at, it's if you're like where we can start looking at building other aspects of movement snacks in throughout your day. If you're working in the office, or if you have a repetitive job, is giving yourself little micro breaks where you're taking this movement break or movement snack continuously throughout the day. When we start looking at this psychology around like productivity and stuff, there's the Pomodoro technique is a really well researched technique that actually shows the like spending like 25-minute chunks of focused work on certain tasks and then having a 5-minute break. That's going to allow you to be a lot more productive, rather than you spending like 40-50 minutes to an hour just trying to get through a task, and then, like, you know it yourself, as soon as you're in that task, after a while your concentration lapses, you take a lot longer to actually get a task done. Whereas if you follow the Pomodoro technique, you're working for 25-minute blocks, have a 5-minute break, and do that for 4 rounds. That gives you 2 hours of solid work, but in that 2 hours you've had 4 5-minute breaks, and then at the end of that one you're taking a 30-minute break. So all in all, you're having 2.5 hours of productivity, with lots of little movement snacks built in throughout the day. And then in the movement snacks, that's where you're doing stuff to get your body up and moving. Again, that could just be doing stuff that's going to open up through your hip flexors, doing stuff that's going to open through your shoulders, and getting outside and on the sun, like especially if you've been in the office in aircon all day, if you can get outside, do it in nature, that's going to give you extra wins and just kind of give you a bit more clarity, give you that vitamin D as well. Some of the things that we can really work off for your upper body is just simple movements of just really kind of starting to become aware of what's going through your shoulders. So can you start working through nice big circles through your shoulder blades? So as you get up from the computer or from the task that you're doing, you're just rolling your shoulders out, going for nice big circles, and really feel the shoulder blades moving up and down. And as you're doing that, you can start bringing that thoracic into it as well. So you're getting that flexion as you're coming forward, getting that extension as you're coming back. To start bringing that on a little bit more, the little ones you can do. You can externally rotate through your hands, rotate through your elbows, rotate through your shoulders. So as you rotate through there, really winding that up from the fingers the whole way through your shoulder, you'll find that you get to a point where that's going to start pulling your shoulder blade back and down, and that's going to start lifting that chest up. So you're getting that nice extension through your thoracic as you get that rotation through your shoulders, and then from there you're rotating that forward. And again, as you're getting that full internal rotation through your hand, wrists, elbows, shoulders, that's going to pull your rib cage down, and that's going to get that nice flexion through here. So keep looking straight ahead on the horizon. Big deep breath coming in, then as you're breathing out, coming forward. Big deep breath coming in, as you're breathing out, coming forward. And again, it's just looking at ways just to move that in. So whenever you're at the computer, whenever you're doing your different tasks, just getting up and working through different movements of that. And again, that's just going to reset everything. And again, bringing that breath into as you're working with it, that's getting you back into that conscious awareness of what's going on through your breath, which is going to help dissipate a lot of that tension through your neck and shoulders as well. All the things is it's just anything can be a movement snack. Just going for a walk, doing something that's just going to be shaking out your body. The more you can just kind of switch your mindset and look at where you can stack this in throughout your day. And at the start, you have to be more consciously aware. Same as what I said with the breathing. But the more you can be consciously aware of making these little changes and set reminders on your phone, set reminders on your computer to actually take these snacks, and then having set things to do. As you start getting used to that and start building a habit for it, your body will innately know what it needs to do. Whenever I'm doing it now, there's sometimes, because I'm more in tune with my body now, if I might have been working from the computer for a while doing different things, I might just come, I'm a moving snack, might just be put on some songs and just allow myself just to move into where I need to be. And it's just intuitively moving your body and just kind of feeling into them different areas. See, can you get your rib cage, your spine working through here? And it's more that kind of free play, just allowing yourself to dance and move to the music. And it can be such a beautiful practice just to help take all the stress away and allow yourself to really sink in and get present with your body. The last one that I want us to focus on is, again, it's going to be another one to open up through your hanging and shoulders. So something that I recommend every person should have, every office should have, is a chin-up bar. So you can get super easy little clip-on chin-up bars that hang onto your door frame that don't damage the door frame or anything like that. And they're only about $15-20, and you can get them online or in some of the different sports shops. But having a chin-up bar in your space that you're constantly working through, that's going to be so beneficial for so many reasons. Once you have that chin-up bar, you can just anytime, for them little movement snacks, or if you go for a walk through it, just pop up, go for a hang, and just allow yourself to drop into that space. And it's as you're building and working on your hanging strength, that's going to help build up your wrist strength, your grip strength. It's going to help open through your shoulders, open through your whole thoracic and rib cage. It's just a beautiful one just to counter that, have that rounded, flexed over posture. If you feel you're you can't go for a full dead hang with it, you can hang from there on the door frame and have your feet on the floor, so you're taking a bit of that weight through your feet and just allow yourself to build that up and slowly bringing your feet off. But again, just building your confidence up with it and just start exploring the different movements and stuff. So as a quick little recap, the things that we want to focus on with the movement snacks is looking at getting in connection with your body and looking at ways to filter it in throughout your day. The biggest thing that you need to do at the start is bringing that conscious awareness to what it is that you want to change. Have a bit of a focus in certain areas that you know that are a little bit more restrictive for you, and then start creating a bit more of a plan for yourself internally on what movements that you can do for yourself that's going to really help lubricate and nourish them joints. And then the other one is do it. The final ones is it's just kind of the last couple of pointers that I want to cover on is don't let your environment or don't let your clothing restrict what it is that you need to do. And like what I mean by that is, like if you're in a space where you don't have any room to squat or any room to sit on the floor, if you don't have a rug down, like you have, like a lot of times you can build up these excuses like I can't do that because of X, Y, or Z. You're like, what's more important for you and yourself? Is it feeding into that story and like having that excuse, or is it doing something that's going to be nourishing your body? So for us, like whenever we started making these changes, it was a gradual process. We slowly got rid of one of our sofas. We still have one sofa there because we use it every now and again. I use it more as a backrest. But I guess we having like some of the comforts there, but then having that time where we're on the floor as well, and we all do that together. As well as like it mightn't be as like that extreme of lobbing the legs off your dining room table, but like still have a low down coffee table that if you're doing stuff on your own, you can work on that on your own, and like finding that space and finding that ways to build that into your day to day life. Other things, like if you're like in an office environment, like you wear like a lot of office clothing, don't let your clothing restrict your movements. If you're wearing clothes that are restricting your movements, it's like why, like if that's restricting you doing certain movements in a task and you're wearing it day in day out with that, that's building a lot of time of you holding your body in this restriction. So there's not going to wonder why you're going to have limitations in your movement. Whereas if you can look at changing up the clothes that you're wearing, changing up the footwear that you're wearing to allow more movement through your feet, to allow more movement through your hips, allow yourself to squat down without worrying about bursting your pants. Like again, it's going to be stuff that you can do that's going to be a lot more conducive to nourishing your body and looking at like that big picture of like health and longevity, rather than just like going to the day to day thinking that like your little mobility program in the gym is going to fix all of these issues with that. So if you have any questions on this topic, feel free to reach out, and like yeah, we can just continue on this process and continue exploring this a lot deeper if you need it.